students, today we will start chapter number 7, that is structural organization in animals. There are two types of organisms, that unicellular as well as multicellular. Now when the organism is consist of animal's body is consist of single cell, one cell, then it is known as unicellular organism, and when it is more than one cell, then it is known as multicellular organism. Now in unicellular organism, single cell is responsible for all the activities of life, performing all the functions of the life. But in case of multicellular organism, there is division of labor. That means each and every cell will not do its own work. They have assigned type of work that they have to do. For example, a group of cell will form a tissue, a group of tissue will form organ, group of organ will constitute the organ system, and a group of organ system will constitute an organism. And all these organ system within the organism will function in a coordinated manner, so that it is necessary to survival of that particular organism. So each and every cell will not do its own function, but here we can see the division of labor. That means they have assigned a group of tissue cell, or a group of organ, or group of tissue, or group of all the organ systems have assigned a particular function that they will function. And in this way we can see here division of labor is there, but in unicellular organism no such division of labor is there. In this slide we can see the same thing that we have already discussed, that is a group of cell will constitute a tissue, a group of tissue will make an organ, group of organ will make organ system, and that is necessary to function in a coordinated manner, so that the organism will be surviving. Now animal tissue, this is some of the animal tissue like smooth muscle tissue, loose connective tissue, nervous tissue, blood, columnar epithelium. So now we will discuss different types of animal tissue. Animal tissue is divided into 4 types. These 4 types are epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and neural tissue. Now this epithelial tissue is made up is consisting for protection, because it is making the covering of the body of different organs, and they are also helps in other than protection, they helps in secretion, absorption, etc. The connective tissue binding the organs, then they give support, make the framework of the body, helps in transportation. That means they are connecting the whole body. Now the muscular tissue, they mainly helps in the movement and locomotion of different parts and the full organism. Then nervous tissue is meant for control and coordination of each and every activity of the body. So we'll discuss one by one. In this slide, the classification is given, classification of animal tissue, that is epithelial tissue, then muscular tissue, nervous tissue, and connective tissue. Epithelial tissue, depending upon in different parts of the body structure, they are of various types. Squamous, flattened, squamous epithelium. Then actually epithelial tissue is consisting of or divided into 2 types, that is first is the simple one and other is the complex one. Now this simple is squamous, columnar, cuboidal, ciliated, glandular, and depending upon that they are performing different functions. Now connective tissue, again it is for support, binding, and packing. It is of different types like areolar, adipose, then supportive one, cartilage, bone, dense connective tissue, tendon, ligament, fluid connective tissue, blood, and lymph. Now in blood again plasma, RBC, WBC, platelets are there, and in lymph plasma and WBC, that is lymphocytes. Now nervous tissue is meant for control and coordination, having different parts, that is cell body, axon, dendron. We will study one by one in detail. This slide is showing 4 types of animal tissue. and their functions. Now here the muscle tissue is meant for a special function, that is contraction for movement and support. These are of three types: skeletal muscle, which are voluntary in function; cardiac muscle, which are only found in the heart and they are involuntary in function. At the same time, smooth muscle, which is present in the inner organ of the body, they are also involuntary in function. That means they are not work according to our will, except skeletal muscle only they are work according to our will. Here in figure we can see connective tissue, epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, nervous tissue. Nerve tissue gives signal to the muscles, informs us about the environmental condition. They are found in our brain, spinal cord, and different types of nerves like motor nerves, sensory nerves, efferent, all types of nerves. Then epithelial tissue, which lines our organs, body parts, skin, all are coming under the epithelial tissue, giving protection. Now connective tissue, they connect, supports and protects other tissues also, like ligament, tendon, cartilage, bone, blood, fibers, organ walls, etc. In this slide we can see different types of epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue is classified into mainly two types, that is simple epithelial and compound epithelial. Now simple epithelial tissues are those which consist of single layer of cells, and compound, which are consisting of two or more than two layer of cells. The simple epithelial tissues are mainly found in lining of blood vessel, ducts, tube, body cavities, etc. Now these simple tissue can be divided into again three subtypes, that is squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelial and columnar epithelial. Now squamous epithelial, depending upon their shape and size of the cell, actually all of these are made up of, consist of single layer of cell, but their shape of the cell is different. In squamous the shape is irregular and the cells are flattened cells. They are helping in the process of diffusion and they are present in the blood vessels, air sac of lungs, etc. Cuboidal cells, cuboidal tissue consist of single layer of cube like cells, and that's why they are known as cuboidal epithelial tissue, and these are mainly found in the duct of the glands, nephron tube, etc., and they are meant for the process of secretion, absorption, etc. Columnar epithelial also consists of single layer of cell, but the cells are tall, slender, column like cells. That's why it is known as columnar epithelial, and these are mainly found in lining of stomach, small intestine, etc., and they also meant for the process of secretion and absorption. Now when the cilia is present in the cuboidal epithelial tissue or columnar epithelial tissue, then it is known as ciliated cuboidal epithelial tissue, or if columnar, then ciliated columnar epithelial tissue. At the same time, when glands are present in the cuboidal epithelial tissue, known as glandular cuboidal tissue, and if glands are present in columnar epithelial tissue, it is known as glandular columnar epithelial tissue. Now the compound epithelial tissues are also known as stratified because consist of more than two layers, and they are mainly found in skin, buccal cavity, pharynx, inner lining of pancreatic duct, salivary gland, etc. They are mainly for the protecting in nature and against the chemical and mechanical stress. In this slide we can see the types of cuboidal epithelial tissue that we had already discussed, that ciliated cuboidal epithelial tissue and glandular cuboidal epithelial tissue, depending upon the cilia or glands in the cuboidal epithelial tissue. Now they are present on the inner surface of the hollow organs like bronchioles, fallopian tubes, etc. These cilia helps in the movement of the particles. So for example, in the fallopian tube they helps in the movement of the egg. So these are the special function performed by the cilia. Now, glands are present in the cuboidal tissue, then it is known as glandular cuboidal tissue, and they are involved in the process of the secretion of some secretions like hormones, enzymes, etc. Now, columnar epithelial tissue is also of two types due to the presence of cilia and glands like ciliated columnar epithelial tissue and glandular columnar epithelial tissue. Now, glandular epithelial tissue are of two types like different types like unicellular and multicellular when on the basis of presence of one cell or more than one cell. For example, single cell unicellular structure glands are present in the goblet cells in the stomach, and multicellular glands like salivary glands. Now, in the epithelium of salivary gland. Now, depending upon the type of gland, these are also of two types, that is exocrine as well as endocrine. Exocrine, when the glands are with ducts, and the ductless glands are known as endocrine, and the secretion of endocrine glands are hormone, whereas secretion of exocrine gland is known as enzymes. In this slide, we can see the epithelial tissue. In this slide, we can see the epithelial tissue, different types of epithelial tissue in a diagrammatic form. Here, the epithelial tissue are these of the following types: simple cuboidal, simple squamous, this is simple columnar, and this is stratified. In simple, as we can see here, only single layer of cell is present on the basement membrane. This is the flattened cell which is present in the squamous epithelial, and this is the columnar, column like cell is there. In stratified, more than one layer of cells are present, and accordingly they function. Now, epithelial tissue found in different areas like body covering, body lining, glandular tissue, and their functions are protection, like when they are present in the lining of internal organ or skin, they give the protection to that particular body or the particular organ. When they are present in the intestine, or then they helps in absorption. When they are present in kidney, they helps in filtration. In case of secretion, they secrete some hormones, mucus, sweat, etc. So, they perform various types of functions. Now, there are three types of cell junctions present between the epithelial tissue. All the cells of epithelial tissues are held together with little intercellular material, and that is also known as cementing material. On that basis, there are three types of junctions, that is tight junction, adhering junction, and gap junction. When any substance can't leak from between this tissue, from these tissue, then it is known as tight junction. There is no any space in between that. Adhering junction, it acts as the cementing material and keep the adjacent cell together, but here minimum very minute level of leaking can occur. In gap junction, this helps the cell to communicate, connecting their cytoplasm, because there some gap is there, and this is helping in rapid transfer of ions, then transfer of small molecules. Sometimes they also allow bigger molecules. So, in this way there are three types of junctions which are present in different parts of the body. The second type of animal tissue is known as connective tissue, and which connect whole body, give support, give framework to the body. So, this is the most abundant, widely distributed tissue, and their function is to linking and supporting other tissues or organs. In all connective tissue except blood, the cells secrete some fibers, and which is made up of structural protein, that is collagen or elastin, and they provide strength and elasticity as well as flexibility to the tissue or the body or the organs. Now, these cells also secrete polysaccharides which accumulate between the cells and fibers, and they form the matrix or the ground substance. So, in this way, in the ground substance, these fibers, fibroblasts are present. The connective tissue is the most widespread as well as most abundant, and it is varied of all tissue types in the body. It also has the widest variety of functions depending upon in which part they are present. That we will discuss one by one. Different types of connective tissues they are classified into broadly in three types, that is loose connective tissue, then dense connective tissue and specialized connective tissue. In loose connective tissue, the cell and fibers are loosely arranged in the ground substance, whereas in dense they are compactly arranged. In a special type, the hard ground substances are present, and they are in case of bones they are non pliable, whereas in cartilage they are pliable, they are flexible. In bones they are rich in calcium. Calcium and phosphorus are deposited in the ground substance. Then they give support framework of the body. Then they helps in movement because they are attached with the muscles. Then they helps in the synthesis of blood cells, etc. The cells of the bones are known as osteocytes, and hence the term osteo is related to the bones, whereas the cells present in cartilage are known as chondrocytes. They are not so hard, they are pliable. And blood is the fluid connective tissue which consists of plasma as well as different types of cells. Now this loose connective tissue are mainly of two types, that is areolar tissue and adipose tissue. Both of them are present beneath the skin, and adipose tissue stores fat, whereas areolar tissue provide framework, contains the fibroblast, mast cells and macrophages. The dense connective tissue in which the fiber and fibroblasts are compactly arranged, and they are arranged in different patterns of the fibers, and accordingly they are named like the dense regular connective tissue and dense irregular connective tissue. In regular one there are of two types, tendons and ligaments. Tendons are those connective tissue which join bone as well as bone with the muscle, and ligaments they attach bone to bone. In this way there are of various types of connective tissue and they are performing different functions. This slide is also showing the classification of connective tissue in different types. We can see from here, we can learn from here different types: loose connective tissue, dense connective tissue, specialized one. Now loose connective tissue having these two types, that is areolar and adipose, dense regular, dense irregular, then here specialized one. So now we will discuss in different slides. This slide is showing the fibrous connective tissue and their broad categories, that is loose as well as dense. In loose, again these are the types in loose, and dense, these are the types. Now these are some figures of the connective tissue. This figure is showing the areolar connective tissue. This is adipose connective tissue which helps in storing the fat. Then fibrous connective tissue giving support to the body. This is blood connective tissue or the fluid connective tissue. This is osseous, that is bone, and this is hyaline cartilage. So these are some diagrams of different types of connective tissues. This slide is showing muscle tissue, which is a third type of animal tissue. Here muscle tissues consist of parallelly arranged long cylindrical fibers which consist of the myofibrils, and they give response against the stimulus, and hence they show relaxation as well as contraction. These are of three types, that is skeletal muscle, smooth muscle and cardiac muscle. Now skeletal muscles are attached to the bones, smooth muscles are present in our internal body parts, and cardiac muscles in the heart. Skeletal muscles are present in our body, they are attached with the bones or the for the facial muscles to the skin. They are their shape and size is that they are long cylindrical structure and they are multinucleate, that means more than one nucleus is present, and they show various types of striations, that is dark and light bands are there, and that's why they are also known as striated muscle. They functions according to our will, and that's why they are voluntary in nature. Now the cardiac muscles present in the wall of the heart, and they show the branching. That means they are also cylindrical, but they are showing the branching. They are uninucleate. They also show striations like the striated muscles, and they are involuntary in function. They are not work functions according to our will. Now smooth muscles, which are found in the inner hollow visceral organs other than heart, and they are single fusiform structure. That means narrow on both the terminal end, and in between they are broad, and that's why known as fusiform. They are also uninucleate structure, but they are unstriated structure. No dark and light bands are there, and they are also involuntary in function. In this way there are three types of muscular tissue. These are the cardiac muscle, the figure showing the cardiac muscle, and they are present in the heart. They are helping in pumping action of the heart into the blood vessel, heart chambers. They show striations that we have already discussed, uninucleate structure, then has intercalated discs shown in the picture, and these are involuntary controlled. In this way we can see that different types of muscular cell. The cardiac muscle helps the muscle and rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout the life. These cardiac muscles compared to a skeletal muscle, and they has more sarcoplasm, more mitochondria, and less well developed sarcoplasmic reticulum, and these are larger transverse tubules located at Z discs rather than at the A or I band junctions. Now the fourth type of animal tissue is known as neural tissue. They consist of the nerve cells. The nerve cells are the largest cell of our human body. They controls the body response in all circumstances. When cell receive any stimuli, it results in generation of the electrical impulse, which travels through the plasma membrane to the nerve ending and passes to the next neuron. In this way they carry the information, the stimulus as well as commands to different parts of the body, to brain, etc., and helps in control and coordination. This slide is showing the figure of neuron cell or nerve cell. Here we can see this is the cell body known as cytone, or the branches are known as dendrites. This is the centrally placed nucleolus. Some here the granular particles are present known as Nissel's granules. Then axon, this one of the dendrite, this will becomes long, and that is known as axon, which is covered by sheath like structure known as myelin sheath, which is not continuous, and where it is not present, that this part, this gap is known as nodes of Ranvier. The axon at the terminal end, the swollen structure is there known as synaptic cleft, synaptic knob, and these are the branches are known as synaptic cleft, which are helping in transmission of the information, messages, stimuli. This slide is showing the functioning of nerve tissue. The neuron, this is the structure of the neuron. The message will be transferred to the axon through this synaptic knob. It will be passes to the next neuron. Here we can see how it is passed to the next neuron. This synaptic knob at the end, here they contain some chemical known as neurotransmitter, through which the message is transferred to the next neuron. This is the figure showing the postsynaptic receptor, and this contains the neurotransmitter and passes the nerve impulse to the next neuron. In this way the information will or impulse will passes from one neuron to second, then third, and so on.